Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Mission Matters. My name is Adam Torres, and if you'd like to apply to be a guest in the show, just head on over to missionmatters.com and click on Be Our Guest to apply. All right, so today I have Julie Colombino-Billingham on the line, and she is a humanitarian entrepreneur and founder of Deux and author of From Lost to Legacy. Julie, welcome to the show.
Hi, it's so great to be here, Adam. Thank you.
All right, so we got a lot to talk about here today. Of course, you have a book, From Lost to Legacy. We got to get it. We have to talk about, of course, Deux and the great work that you're doing over there in Haiti. And I guess just to get started, how did this company, Deux, how did that come about? Where'd you get the idea for this?
Well, I'll tell you, it wasn't a traditional business idea. I was a disaster responder, and I don't know if you remember the earthquake in Haiti in 2010, but I deployed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard. I know it's hard to forget, isn't it? Well, I deployed 10 days after the earthquake hit, and I was doing my normal logistics and disaster response activities. And about a few weeks into it, I was distributing bottles of water in a tent camp, and a woman said to me, "Hey, I don't want any water, but I need a job." And it just really transformed who I wanted to be and how I wanted to work in Haiti and the kind of life I wanted to have. You know, I always definitely believe in aid and nonprofits, and especially after a disaster, we can't neglect the immediate needs of people in crisis. But I wanted to be a part of the generational change and the long-term stability. And really, the thing that was hitting me was not just the earthquake damage, but the poverty that was plaguing Haiti. And I wanted to be a part of changing that and working with the people of Haiti to find a solution to the poverty that was plaguing its people.
When you say deployed, were you part of a program? Were you what exactly were you doing? Just so I'm clear.
Yeah, it's quite unclear, to be honest with you, because I had traditionally, like during Hurricane Katrina, I worked for the Red Cross and I worked for the United Way.
Oh,
so I
wow.
worked for really large agencies. But I actually decided to do this one on my own.
Wow. So you just went? What was that like? Were all based on your background, I'm sure people, your friends, your group, your family, they knew that, like, oh, there goes Julie. She's off again to save the world to a certain extent. In a good way, of course, But what did people say? You're like, I'm going to go off on my own. What was that like?
Oh, it was crazy. You know what's so funny, though? My sisters have me saved in their phone as Save the World Julie, because I do
stop. I knew it. I already knew. I called it.
I know when you said that, I was like, oh, I know that name. Yeah, it was a silly thing to do, and definitely not something that disaster responders would ever approve of or recommend for someone to go off without an organized agency. But, the truth is, the story of this disaster for me is I just felt this really strong call to be in Haiti. And I had some disagreements with the way that some of the large agencies did things in the past. And I just wanted, something in my soul just said, do things differently. And so it was very intimidating. I was very scared. I always try to let people know that it's not because I was this brave woman that went off on Haiti. I was kind of this,
Oh, yes. You're Save the World, Julie. Don't even try it.
No, I was petrified. I was petrified. When the plane landed in Port-au-Prince, there were very few aircraft that could land because the runway was all broken and torn down.
Yeah.
There was no facilities. There was no people to help the plane land. It was chaos. And when the doors of the plane opened, some of the Americans who were in Haiti when the disaster hit ran on our plane, and they were covered in blood and dirt and dust and wearing face masks, and it was extremely intimidating. And I thought, what in the world do I think I'm doing here? This is insane. And then I really realized that these people were the lucky ones because they were getting on this plane and they were leaving. But there were millions of people on the ground who had nowhere to go and were expecting people to be there to respond. And so I just kind of held my breath and got off the plane.
Wow. How does this turn into a business? Like, at what point did that? Okay, I know you said the woman said she needs a job, but at what point did this turn into the seed of an idea that turned into a business? Where do you see that? If you remember, was it a progression? Was it like an aha moment? When did it turn into a business?
It was a little bit of both, because all these, while I was in Haiti, all these things were dripping on me about long-term development and people needing jobs and people asking for jobs and people wanting to work. And it was something very different that I had experienced in this disaster versus previous disasters where, usually in the developed world, people want to recover naturally, and do the things to get their things, back on track. But here, people just wanted to work, begging for jobs. And it was just a very different experience. So this was all dripping on me for a few months. And then I met a woman named Jolina De Roche. She was very passionate about job creation. She's a Haitian woman who lost everything. Her and her husband lost their home, their businesses, everything, but thank goodness not their lives or the lives of their children. They were all spared. And I met Jolina, and she just said, she wanted to create jobs in her country. And I had remembered when I was a missionary in Africa in 2006, this kind of just came back to me in a dream, that people were making and selling sandals out of tires. And so I just kind of said this crazy idea to Jolina, and she said, well, there's tires everywhere, and no one has footwear, and kids need shoes because they step on rebar and they get illnesses from the soil, and we should do that. We should do that. And Adam, we did it. It was August 14th, 2010, about 8 months after the earthquake. Me, Jolina, and 3 other women decided we were going to start this little business and make sandals from tires.
Wow. What was, and so you're there, you're making sandals from tires. Like just to be clear, have you ever done anything like this before, like entrepreneurial or humanitarian entrepreneurial as you worded it, but it's entrepreneurial, like you're going in a community, you're solving a need and you're making it happen. Had you ever done anything like that before?
No, no one's ever really asked me that before, but no, I haven't actually. I always worked.
What made you think you could? What made you think you could? I'm so interested.
Oh my God. I honestly don't know. Because I think the truth is there was no choice. When people have this resiliency and this passion and this desire to do something, and what I had, buyers in America. So, people in Haiti were so poor, we didn't really have much of a customer base. But I was meeting all the other disaster responders, NGO workers. There were thousands of volunteers coming in. I was living in the same tent camps as these guys. So I was making connections. So it was between the Haitian team and their craftsmanship and my connections, I was like, okay, we can sell something. We can do this. We have to do this. There's no choice. We have to do this. And I think when something also is a calling, it's just, you just do it.
So where does the company stand today? Talk to me about how its evolution throughout the years. And did you stay in Haiti, by the way? Or are you located in the U.S. again? Or I'm just curious on that end too. Yeah,
of course. I live in the U.S. now. I lived in Haiti for 5 years. And then I traveled back and forth. I haven't been to Haiti in the past 16 months. I'm not sure if you know much about the current situation, but the president was assassinated about 4 years ago. And since that time, gangs have taken over. And so about 90% of the capital is run by gangs. The airport is actually closed. It's been closed for 16 months, so you actually can't fly into Port-au-Prince even if you wanted to. So the entire business is run by the Haitian leadership team in Haiti, and they risk their lives every single day to go to work. And they are the true heroes, the brave, true heroes of this story.
How resilient, right?
Resilient. I mean, they're absolutely incredible. I've, really learned about the kind of woman I wanted to be by being and living in Haiti, because just experiencing this for myself. And to answer your other question, I can tell you we are no longer making tire sandals. The company has evolved over the last 16 years. But what we do make now is school shoes for Haitian children. So we make a leather, almost like a Mary Jane for little girls, and it almost looks like a church shoe for little boys. And we distribute those through churches, NGOs, missions. We're trying to get government contracts so that all children in Haiti can have, proper school shoes. And we export premium leather bags into the States, and we sell at places like Nordstrom's and small boutiques and our own website. So we were really passionate about not only making a product for export to tell this amazing story of talent and artistry in Haiti, but also for something for local consumption. So we do both.
How do you, when it comes to running a company under what you just mentioned, what's going on in Haiti, how do you even do that? Normally when we're asking a question, okay, tell me about leadership challenges. Tell me about all of that stuff seems kind of trivial compared to just keeping it going and to keeping people focused and to keeping the hope there. How do you even, from your end, being in the United States, how's that even accomplished?
Yeah, it is so difficult. I remember 3 years into this venture, I had a community in Orlando, Florida, who was really, really helpful about helping us get started and really supportive. And it was part of the Chamber of Commerce, and they were like, Julie, I really think you should be a part of this CEO group. And I was like, okay. So I would, Skype into meetings, and people would talk about the challenges they had And I would just sit there thinking, man, I don't belong here. My team hasn't had water in 4 days, and we haven't had electricity in a week, and, we have a hurricane coming and no shelter. Half the team is still living in tents. It was really hard. It still is really hard to even compare with people who are running businesses in the first world. But we try to do it with dignity and grace. And it really is, it's co-leadership. So the truth is I get down a lot. I don't always have all the hope and all of the enthusiasm to keep going, but somebody else on the team will have it. We pick up for each other when someone is feeling low. And that is kind of one of the revolutionary things about the way that the company is run and the values of the company is that just everybody is so invested. We co-own it. So it's a co-owned company. So there's just a lot of passion from each person to make sure it works and to make sure we all have what it takes to make it work.
I'm curious about how something like this scales, like how you initially made the connection to selling the premium leather bags in the United States and how you kind of introduced that, like how did that come about and how does this scale? Like, how do you continue doing something like this, which you've obviously been doing, but how do you continue?
Well, sales is our biggest challenge. Every day there's people asking for new jobs, and my answer is always the same. Not until we scale sales can we create more jobs. So right now we have about 50 craftspeople working, and there's 5,000 more that we could easily employ if the need was there. So scaling is definitely the biggest challenge. The way that we have made some of the big headway that we have is through partnerships. So getting the factory fair trade verified was huge for us, because once we became part of the Fair Trade Federation, people were like, oh, this is really interesting. There's a company that's making beautiful things. Like it's a kind of like an anomaly, because people don't think beautiful, premium leather, lush, chic bags. When they think of Haiti, they think of poverty and gangs and earthquakes and all these things. And so we wanted to really flip that story, which is why we really focus on a premium product. And because of that, and because we stand out so much, I think people are willing to give us a chance. Nordstrom getting into them, that just happened in July of last year, and that was a game changer for us. At 3x sales, they opened us to this community of women and buyers that, never knew we existed. And I can't compete from an advertising dollar perspective with a lot of these big brands. So, having these kind of smart partnerships is what saves us.
That's absolutely amazing. I love it. This is a great, great story. One that I'm happy to bring to my audience. And Julie, it's so nice to meet you and to have you on the show. This is amazing.
Thank you for asking such nice questions. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm just amazed. I'm put Julie Saves the World in the title on this one. No. Tell your sisters, no.
They named the podcast.
I'm like, there goes the name of her segment. Bring you on as a recurring guest. This is Julie Saves the World segment. I love it. Oh my gosh, this is a lot of fun. Julie, first off, it's been great having you on the show, seriously. How do people follow up? How do they grab some bags? How do they support? How do they get involved?
This is my favorite question, because every single person with purchasing power has such a chance to make an impact in the world and change someone else's life the way that they purchase. So if anybody is interested in looking at a new leather bag or a small leather good, we also make products for men. Please visit our website, which is Deux.com. It's DEUXMAINS, and Deux means two hands in Creole, because we make everything by hand. And we would love to offer anybody that checks us out and wants to buy something a 15% discount. Please use the code Adam15 and get a little discount and enjoy some really well-made fair trade leather goods from Haiti.
I love it. This will be great. And for everybody listening, just so you know, we'll definitely put the information in the show notes, including the discount code. So Adam15, get your discount there. I love it. I'm in. And speaking of the audience, if this is your first time with Mission Matters and you haven't done it yet, hit that subscribe or follow button. This is a daily show. Yes, you heard me right. Daily. Each and every day, we're bringing you new content, new ideas, and hopefully new inspiration to help you along the way in your journey as well. So hit that subscribe or follow button. And Julie, thanks again for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.